Hey guys, welcome to the first United99 match build-up on YouTube. Today we'll be going through our pre-match analysis for the Manchester United versus Newcastle United match, which happens on Saturday 11th to 21st at home and at Old Trafford. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy our coverage, and let's get straight into this. First of all, I want to talk about some Newcastle strengths before we get into constructing two teams, which one team I think Ollie will go out with against Newcastle, and one team that I would go out against Newcastle with. Jumping into some of the strengths of that Newcastle squad, when we play them I expect that they'll go for a 5 at the back system. It seems to me that they use a 5-3-2 consisting of 3 centre backs, 2 full backs, and what looks to be 3 holding midfielders. We have 2 strikers up front. Under Steve Bruce, Newcastle United are a very defensive team. They don't score a lot of goals. Usually they deploy the low block, which means instead of pace, we won't be able to get behind them as much because I expect that they'll sit deep. But we will need to be strong in the box with physical talent who can get onto headers. Some of the danger men, Callum Wilson is obviously a big player for them, scoring 2 goals in their previous game against Southampton. Saint-Maximin is also a good player. Currently has 1 goal and 1 assist. So if we're looking at the 2 best players in the team, if you can stop Saint-Maximin and Callum Wilson, I think you completely cut off the entire creativity of that Newcastle side. Looking at Newcastle in the table, they currently sit 17th with -4 goal difference and 1 point after 3 games. And to be honest, Newcastle look like they're struggling at the minute. 4-2 loss against West Ham at the start of the season really showed this team can concede a lot of goals if they are pressed and attacked. And with the amount of attacking options that this United team has, I expect us to be putting this team to the sword quite easily. Other teams that they faced so far this season have consisted of Aston Villa, Burnley and Southampton. Teams that I would expect them to be around the same level. I would expect Newcastle to try and be making a case that they could win those games to be able to stay in this league and to be competitive. When we go to face them, they'll be deploying a 5 at the back system, which ultimately means that I think they will relinquish a lot of the ball. I think they'll sit back, try and hit United on the counter attack, and pretty much try and frustrate United and limit our goal threat. Going into the team for this game, of what I think Ollie will choose first of all. In goal, David De Gea, pretty much first name on the team sheet. I don't think Dean Henderson's back yet, and I think De Gea is undisputed as our number 1 for the rest of the season currently. I mean, I waxed lyrical in our podcast on Spotify about De Gea contribution to the last 2 games. That double save against Wolverhampton Wanderers and the 1-on-1 save against Armstrong against Southampton really shows that this guy is back in form. A player who's been in the news a lot this week, Luke Shaw, missed the header against Poland, to which England ended up conceding, but Shaw is one of these players who has his name on the team sheet every week. One of United's best defenders, probably one of the best left backs in the Premier League currently. So I'd play Shaw. Next to him is got to be Maguire, the captain. I think he'll be fresh, he'll be fit, ready to go. His partner, I reckon it's time to deploy Varane as his partner, get them playing some consistent matches with each other, and to really start to build that partnership up. Wan-Bissaka will be my final addition to this back 4 at right back. What I think will happen against Newcastle, ultimately for our defence will need to be pressing high up the pitch, almost camping on the halfway line pretty much. Bringing in the CDM, I think Ollie will go with Matic ultimately. I think Matic will sit deep, almost act as the central centre back. I think the role of Matic will be ultimately to sit deep and protect the partnership of Maguire and Varane, track any runners from deep and make sure that we're not overloaded on a counter-attack. The role of Wan-Bissaka and Shaw will be simple. Try and press as high as you can, pin back the fullbacks, and really try and whip in a lot of crosses to get onto your target man. In that number 8 role in the midfield next to Matic, I'll be capitalising off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's double pivot system that he likes to employ, usually when the likes of McTominay or Fred play traditionally. Whether you like him or not, McTominay will probably not start. He's coming back from an injury. He probably won't have the fitness to last 45 minutes, let alone a full game. So I think he'll start on the bench if he's fit at all. Fred is ultimately unavailable due to his commitments with Brazil and whatever kerfuffle's going on there. A lot of people think that Donny van der Beek should start, and I'm probably one of them. I just think you need to find the players who are going to be most effective against Newcastle, their low block system, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will go with this pairing ultimately because he just doesn't seem to like Van der Beek. Van der Beek hasn't played a minute since the preseason win over Everton, so no way is Van der Beek making a start. Above that midfield two, I have Bruno Fernandes at number 10, which pretty much writes itself. I don't think you can have anyone else there. That is his position until he requests a rest from duties or he gets injured. Now the front three is very interesting. That's down to personal preference of what you believe Ollie would put out against Newcastle. I think Greenwood's been great. I think he's been rested against the international break, and I think he will start Greenwood, but I don't think he'll start Greenwood up top. I think he'll put Greenwood out on the right, just because that is his best position on the wing. I think he really wouldn't be suited to playing out on the left. On the right wing, it's a toss-up really. I reckon Martial has started a lot of games. I think he made a good contribution when he came on against Wolves. But at the very same time, Lingard could also play in that position because Lingard's obviously going to be a Manchester United player for the next 12 months unless he leaves. And he did very well in the international break. So it really depends on who Ollie thinks is better suited against this Newcastle team. I think it'll be Martial, simply because he's played more minutes. And the vacancy up front, I think he will go with Cavani up front. People will be calling for Ronaldo to start. Ronaldo probably should start because of his status, but I think Cavani got minutes against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think if you're looking at any signing we've made this summer, Sancho and Varane, they've always come on as substitutes rather than make their first team debut within the first few weeks. I think Ollie will try and protect Ronaldo as much as he can, even though he probably doesn't need protecting. I think he'll try and blood him into the Premier League, get him up to speed, and I think he'll utilise Cavani's height and presence during the first half against Newcastle to try and capitalise on overloading the Newcastle fullbacks, and getting the ball to Shaw and whipping crosses into the box for Cavani to get his head onto. There's a lot of height with this sort of team. You have Maguire, Cavani, Pogba, Matic, who are all very tall and would be great when you're whipping in a cross, a corner, a free kick perhaps. And you're also looking at the bench of the assets you have. I reckon it'll be very good to bring on Ronaldo perhaps with 30 minutes to go. If you're trailing, if it's tied, yeah, some of these options. You have Ronaldo that will lift the crowd. Putting Ronaldo on will lift the crowd, and it will get Newcastle's backs up against the wall. It will scare the living death out of them to have 70,000 United fans chanting "Attack, attack, attack," or "Viva Ronaldo" if they're trying to preserve a tie or a 1-0 lead. You could also bring Lingard in this formation, try and stretch the play if Newcastle come out and try and put pressure. I think Lingard will be a great addition if Newcastle are trailing. We can put Lingard on, stretch the play, and really expose the gaps in the midfield and defence as the opposition push for a goal. Van der Beek, if Van der Beek doesn't start, there's no way he's coming on as a substitution. I reckon at some point he'll be looking to sub Matic off and put on another defensive player. Perhaps if McTominay's back, he will sub on McTominay for Matic. But I don't expect Matic to last the full 90 minutes. I think he will be subbed at some point. I think you're going to have to watch out for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics. What we tend to do if we're pushing for a goal and we're pressing high up the pitch, I've seen it a lot in the previous games. Greenwood's, if I move Cavani out the way, Greenwood has always played in this sort of striker role, but he tends to drift either left or right, allowing Fernandes to come in and act as the secondary striker at times. We almost form this 4-2-2-2 system, utilising Bruno Fernandes and whoever else plays up front as two individual strikers, bypassing what I think isn't a very quick-tempoed midfield. Matic and Pogba are going to be told to hold on to the ball when I think we should be spreading the play, which is why I think Van der Beek should probably start. But he won't, because I don't think Ollie, for one, has a place for him in this sort of team, and two, both Fred and McTominay were fit to play this match. They would both start. Thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. I hope you're having a good night wherever you are, and see you soon.